Greetings, a warm welcome to the main news broadcast on Hope Channel Zambia, television that changes lives. A look at stories that are making headlines. 4 men on the run after gang raping 16-year-old girl. Zambia to change the face of tourism from leisure to an economic benefiting factor. An increase in the number of teen pregnancies bemoans Minister of Education. High charcoal demand in urban areas worries government. Part of Nakadoli market shops in Kitwe burned to ashes. Join me shortly with the details.
My wife, bumper harvest. Eh?
Daddy,
I'm telling you.
your new fertilizer. Niamini.
Eh?
Daddy,
Tell you.
Hello.
With
I went to ETG, and now we are enjoying the benefits of using a blended D-compound fertilizer as basil and Kynoplus as top dressing fertilizer instead of urea that we used last year. Now look here. This year, it has given me 4 tons. 4 tons. But last year, it was only 1.8 tons. Kynoplus has given all my crops the nitrogen that I paid for. Wow. It has saved me money. Telling you.
Understanding the difference between soil and crop-specific fertilizers, therein lies strength for Kynoplus blended fertilizers. More value in a bag. Available in the ETG depots countrywide, with a network providing agronomy services to farmers across the country. Kynoplus. Enhanced efficiency through innovation. A product of ETG.
With the news in detail, I'm Enoch Chipenda Kalulu. A 16-year-old girl of Chiwangandu district in Muchinga province has been gang raped by 4 men. The incident happened on Saturday night as the girl of Matumbo village was returning home from the market where she was sent when she met the 4 men who she knows. Muchinga Province Police Commanding Officer Kaunda Mubanga says the 4 men pounced on the girl and took turns in raping her. Mr. Mubanga says the girl reported the matter to police and complained of stomach pains, chest pains and painful private parts. In a statement availed to the media, Mr. Mubanga says a report from a medical doctor at Chinsali General Hospital came out consistent with a report of rape on the victim. He says the 4 are from Matumbo village are on the run. Minister of Tourism Rodney Sikumba says the government is working towards changing the face of tourism in Zambia from leisure to an economic benefiting factor. He says there is a need to promote business tourism which comprises of meetings, incentive travels, conventions and exhibitions. Mr. Sikumba says this industry will create a lot of jobs, and as such there is need to invest in more infrastructure that can host a number economically befitting events. Mr. Rodney Sikumba was speaking when he handed over the Global Evergreening Alliance Conference, which is slated for next March 2024, to the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. And Minister of Green Economy and Environment Collins Nzovu, in a speech read on his behalf, he says collaboration between line ministries is government's way to develop the nation. He has since called on various stakeholders to attend the conference in order to contribute to Zambia's economy and the fight against adverse climate change.
This conference is a Global Evergreening Alliance conference. When the UPND government took over office, one of the mandates that it had, and one of the key things that we did, was to create the Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. This was in response to the ever-depleting natural resources that we have across the globe today. And Zambia is one of the countries that obviously we must want to mention that it has really kept its natural resources, its biodiversity, as our colleagues would call it, in its pristine condition. And what we want to do in this particular event, ladies and gentlemen, is to actually showcase of how rich, how kept, how protected our biodiversity in our country is.
to make climate change one of the most important existential threats, not only for Zambia, but also the world at large. We would therefore welcome this multi-sectoral conversation that will serve as a great platform to share our strides as Zambia and our ambition in land restoration and environmental protection agenda. Zambia's development agenda, the 8th National Development Plan, cannot be achieved without ensuring appropriate land use planning, responsible management of the resources, and collaboration from all stakeholders. Zambia has varied landscapes, and each has a unique role to play in supporting sustainable development. Environmental, social, and economic goals can only be met when we have health land resources.
Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima has bemoaned the increase in the number of teenage pregnancies in the country. Speaking when he officiated at the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization consultative meeting in Lusaka today, Mr. Yakalima attributed this increase to inadequate information around comprehensive sexuality education, especially in chiefdoms, a situation he once ratified. He has since called on chiefs, teachers, and members of the public to engage actively in educating communities about the dangers of teen pregnancies, early marriages, and has called for a neglect to certain traditions that are dangerous to the well-being of the girl child. And House of Chiefs Chairperson, His Royal Highness Chief Chisunka, has welcomed the Minister's directive of educating communities of the dangers around teen pregnancies and early marriages. The chief said his palace is already championing this cause by way of setting up laws aimed at combating such vices. He has equally called on every well-meaning Zambian to embrace comprehensive sexuality education in order to better the country and safeguard the lives of children in the country. More in this report.
United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, simply abbreviated as UNESCO, held an Our Rights, Our Lives, Our Future O3 Zambia Stakeholders Consultative Meeting at Taj Pomozi Hotel in Lusaka. The purpose of the meeting was to provide a platform for stakeholders to voice out on successes, challenges and opportunities that lie ahead in the area of comprehensive sexuality education.
Since 2019, UNESCO has been supporting the project Our Rights, Our Lives, Our Future, which is referred to as the O3 project. The project seeks to achieve sustained reductions in new HIV infections, unintended pregnancies, and gender-based violence through supporting the delivery of good quality comprehensive sexuality education in partnership and under the leadership of the Ministry of Education. Sexuality education that empowers adolescents and young people and builds their agency while developing their skills, knowledge, attitudes, and competencies that they require to make healthy life choices. As we deliberate on the way forward, let us focus our discussions on how to build upon what we have achieved in this phase, address any remaining gaps, and ensure that the next phase is even more inclusive, more comprehensive, and more impactful.
Officiating at this year's event was Education Minister Douglas Yakalima, who emphasized the need for people to embrace comprehensive sexuality education, as it is a tool that can go a long way in reducing the number of teenage pregnancies, as well as enable the community to have sufficient knowledge concerning the dangers around teenage pregnancies and early marriages.
Today's gathering of such a diverse and esteemed group of individuals underscores the collective commitment we share towards providing the best possible education for our children, who are our nation's most valuable asset. Over the past 4 years, the O3 Zambia Comprehensive Sexuality Education, now Life Skills and Health Education Program, has played a pivotal role in our education system. As we approach the conclusion of Phase 1, I am proud to say that together we have made significant strides in imparting essential life skills and knowledge to our young learners. Zambia continues to face considerable challenges around sexual and reproductive health and the well-being of young people. These include high rates of HIV prevalence, early sexual debut, teenage and unintended pregnancies, and sexual and gender-based violence.
He called on chiefs to join forces with government to enhance this cause.
I took advantage of the traditional leaders who are here to go down there, to go and start telling our people. Our traditions sometimes are too bad to emulate. Early marriages. I think we can share this message to our traditional leaders, to go and tell the headmen and everybody in our societies.
His Royal Highness Chief Chisunka welcomes this move, saying it is a step in the right direction.
As traditional leaders, we are the fighter of early child marriages. In Wapra province, where I come from, we are even now put up with bylaws which reduce the GBV, early child marriages, getting early child pregnancies. That's what we are fighting for as Wapra Chiefs Council.
Daniel Chilema, reporting for Hope News in Lusaka.
Kawambwa Town Council Chairperson Kalumba Chifumbe says the local authority has started receiving the budgeted 5,000 constituency development van desks in readiness for distribution to various schools in both Kawambwa Central and Pambashe constituencies respectively. Mr. Chifumbe has stated a total amount of 9,870,000 kwacha will be spent on the procuring of the budgeted 5,000 desks, adding that a total of 2,500 desks will be distributed to schools in Kawambwa Central constituency and the other 2,500 to Pambashe constituency. He has expressed satisfaction on the quality of desks being delivered to the local authority, adding that this is a clear demonstration of the contractors embracing the developmental agenda of raising the standard of education that the district has embarked for. He has since encouraged school managers to desist from using the procured desks for outdoor functions, adding that there is need for the desks to be taken care of and only used for learning purposes, as they have been procured using huge sums of money. Meanwhile, Mr. Chifumbe has urged contractors, I'll read that again. Mr. Chifumbe has urged contractors executing community projects such as schools, clinics, and staff houses in both Kawambwa Central and Pambashe constituencies to erect structures that will stand the test of time, adding that contractors found to be compromising with the quality of structures risk having their contract terminated. He notes that the district has embarked on a lot of projects that only require competent contractors that are ready to be part of the development agenda of making Kawambwa district a better place for all. We have.
Good morning, everybody, and it is a Wednesday, a lovely Wednesday, the 16th of August. As your servant, I want to update the district on a few projects that we have undertaken and we continue to undertake, and also to appreciate some of the works that suppliers and the contractors have continued to provide a service to us. Firstly, I need to acknowledge government's effort in ensuring that we receive money and we are able to undertake these projects on time. And also all the stakeholders that have been involved from the scratch up to where we are today. I say thank you to all of us that have come on board and be part of us. The developmental agenda that we have embarked on as a district requires all of us. There's no need to fight. All we need is all of us to come together and see how best we can do for our district. It is for that reason that today, as I give a brief briefing on the progress made, I expect all of us to continue working hand in hand. This year, under Constituency Development Fund, the district has been in turn need of 5,000 desks, and out of which I'm glad to inform you all that the procurement, the supplying has begun. And very soon we'll be distributing some of the desks that have been supplied. And let me mention this. I'm so happy with the quality. The quality that is here today cannot be compared to the desks that were supplied last year. For me, this is how it's supposed to be. As a district, we are so happy with the suppliers that have who were part of this, and we expect more to do the exact works that has been done by the ones that have supplied us. We will be supplying, or we will be procuring about 5,000 desks, 2,500 for Kawambwa Central, 2,500 for Pambashe constituents, in that order. Not to forget to thank the management, the team that are doing inspections. It's a job well done. As a council, we remain committed in ensuring that what is procured will be used and it has got quality. But mainly, let me send this warning, strong warning, to the end users who are pupils. These are furnitures that are coming at a greater cost, and they require you to take care of them. School managers. Comes another opportunity for us to be part of the development in our district. It's not about the council chair, it's not about the councillor, the MP, the president. It's about all of us. Let us take full responsibilities of these furnitures that are coming at a greater cost. Today we intend to spend about 10 million kwacha for the desks. And if we fail to take care of them, who are we going to blame? We must blame ourselves, but that we are not going to entertain anymore. We want to make sure that these desks are protected and they are secured. Outdoor gathering, let us not use the desks. These desks are for school learners. These desks are for school learners, not for any other purpose. Get me right. These desks are for school learners, not for any.
Home Affairs Minister Jack Mwimbu says the seized jet by the Drug Enforcement Commission is safely parked at the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport while investigative wings have full custody of the minerals. Speaking in an interview in Angola, the minister has called on politicians and members of the public to desist from fabricating unverified information and putting the president's name in disrepute. He says all 10 suspects in the matter are still under police custody, and anyone with particular information concerning the matter should report to relevant investigative wings, as opposed to making unsubstantiated comments that might hinder the process of investigation. He has further charged government wings to refrain from giving comments regarding the issue. More in this report.
To urge all other wings of government to desist from making comments on this matter. All comments pertaining to this particular matter will be handled by the Drug Enforcement Agency, who are the lead agency in this investigation. We also want to appeal to members of the public who may have particular information pertaining to this particular gold saga to report and inform the investigating wings of the information they may have in order for the investigating wings to expedite this particular process. We, as government, have nothing to hide. The plane in issue is under our custody. And the individuals who are alleged to be involved in this matter, and which individuals were detained by the police, are still in custody. No one has been released by the investigating wing. I also want to appeal that politicians must not use this particular unfortunate situation to scandalize the presidency. Let the investigating wings investigate the matter. The truth will be known by the public at an appropriate time. We also want to appeal to the nation and those individuals who are fond of making malicious allegations without verifying the truth, that in due course, appropriate action will be taken.
We take a break and we'll be back shortly.
Escape the winter monotony with an August pack full of variety. Discover hilarious kids content and the best of local reality shows on Top Store.
The guy likes such chicken. Have him.
For only 160 kwacha, Antenna Classic Old Dish Smart. Give your little ones the gift of joy, laughter, and learning as we welcome them back home for the holidays with delightful kids shows on Cartoon Channel, ST Kids, Jim Jam, and more. Start the month with the prize-winning local game show Bongwa Champs on Quacks, premiering on 6 August at 19 hours on Novella E+.
Where in the human body can the smallest bone be found?
Watch contestants put their intelligence, teamwork, and humor to the ultimate test. But there is more. Looking to spice up your weekends? Don't miss Hello Mr. Right Season 3, airing live on TV3 every Saturday at 20 hours. Cheer on your favorite couple and witness as they find love through a range of fun challenges, conflicting conversations, and plenty of romantic moments. Subscribe now. Top Star. Enjoy digital life.
Change your water and change your life. Kanjin Water Zambia Limited brings to you microclasses highly alkaline water with the benefits of immunosystem booster, disease combating, and many more. For more information, dial the number 0976 096670. We are located in all around the country, Zambia. Change your water and change your life. Change your water and change your Kanjin water. Kanjin water, change your life.
Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. Ministry of Energy Permanent Secretary Francis Kazyambo has bemoaned the rise in demand for charcoal and firewood in urban areas. Dr. Zyambo says it is unfortunate that even with easy access to modern energy supply, the demand and consumption of charcoal and firewood is still high. Speaking during the National Indaba on liquefied petroleum gas in Lusaka today, Dr. Zyambo called on urban communities to be advocates and champions for enhanced energy technologies and modern energy practices. Meanwhile, USAID Alternative to Charcoal Private Sector Engagement Coordinator Molehi Shiale said the institution will continue promoting behavioral change on the benefits of using gas. Dr. Shiale further called on government to help facilitate for a cylinder manufacturing company in Zambia to ease access to gas. He said this in a presentation made on his behalf by private sector finance advisor Tom Lianda. Minister of Education Douglas Siakalima said the introduction of free education by the New Dawn government has increased the number of school-going children in the education system. Speaking during a media press briefing at Ministry of Information today, the minister said during his visits to check on the education system, he found in some parts of the country young girls at the ages of 16 and below pregnant, and Southern Province Namwala district topping with over 400 pregnant girls. The minister further encouraged teachers to orient the pupils on sexuality topics in schools on how they can prevent pregnancies during their education years in order to build a productive and successful society. More in the following report.
From individuals thinking, what have we done now in order for anybody to realize that how has free education worked? All the parents who were unable to pay for their own children, and it has shown, how come that immediately we said free education, there was an influx of children in school. Just about 1 million. Where are you going to take those 1 million children, if I may ask? Minister, if I may ask, where are you going to take those 1 million children who have gone into school on the Copper Belt? It also shows you to say that parents were not affording to take their children to school. In as much as you might think that how would a person fail to pay 600 by 3 in a term, then your thinking is upside down. Your thinking is upside down. Zambians were tied. They could not afford. But the parents were willing to take their children to school. They had no means. But they're now telling them, go to school. Now, the kids even themselves were thirsty for knowledge. Why have they flocked? I can now tell you to say that even if you see an influx of children, in one class there are 80, some of them 100. Why are they? Today, I can tell you, the statistics have shown us that the absenteeism rates have gone down. Because they are now competing to say that I need a place. When they were just 35, and all of us were saying that now space, now they are full. Even those children who didn't want to go to school are saying, they will get my place. So they are there. We have controlled what we call social control. A child having a defined day. We plucked from those same parents who were not affording. We said, remain with your money. 1,800, remain with that money. We'll pay for you. So who can tell me that money in the pocket is like how? So if you wanted a demonstration yourselves as Zambians, we could have said, pay, then we shall repay you back.
Woke up to a rude shock after finding some shops and goods burnt to ashes this morning. This is the second market fire that has hit the district this month from the inferno at Chisokone Market that happened early this month. A shop owner, Mr. Oliver Mutandwe, narrated how all his property, which included his carpentry tools and timber, got burnt to ashes. More in this report.
01 Howard wakitampira apa bali bikapo kamo akakuchinjamo ifi yakufwala nokubikamu amadozi nokubikamu ifi mwefiera inena kimunfuafyo na kimfuafyo ati pu bati shakishiba umuliro ko wakifuma iyo bantu tamwa bamalaiti muri iyo ilio na kisa ukuisa mwana umuliro ero nafuma naya itaba nebo kutira mweba umesi seni muntu ule fintu fiaona ikako
ko na aspire na tukatama planing machine ya tatu na pia then ripping machine na ipia then na planga aba customer na kwena na apira kumo tulelomba kubuteko to come on board and see how best mwinga kwato kubafwa abantu besu
abo FPire.
I told the same to wait and get a report. There are people, there's a team that will discuss that with one assess, and they will put that everything together, and that's the report which will guide which way. The government, it's the people themselves. We keep on appealing to them that we need to work hand in hand, because there is no government which will take development when the government themselves, the people, the traders themselves are not willing to accept that we need to start thinking of bringing in modern structures. Of course, those are local markets, and even when we say government wants to build that, people should not resist, because some of them they are resisting, and they should not resist, because those are local markets and the rates are too small. So it's like government building shops for them. Yeah, nobody else will trade in those issues. For example, if we had a shop here, we remove that, we construct, you will get back to that space, because under the Market and Bus Acts, there are laws that it's only the local government to provide infrastructure which is conducive for our people to trade in those areas.
And lastly, local stories. Authorities in Chadiza district of Eastern Province have bemoaned the continued abuse of children by parents and guardians who allegedly force them into activities that deprive them of a better future. District Administrative Officer Anslo Muchelemba says cattle herding and early marriages continue to be on the rise, thereby denying the children access to education for a better future. Speaking at a workshop dubbed Protecting Children on the Move, supported by Save the Children, Ms. Muchelemba said change among some traditional leaders and other key players may be resistant, but the situation could improve with continuous sensitization. Currently, the situation is bad and requires everyone to work together for the betterment of our children, especially the boy child, who is seemingly very affected with this, she said. Ms. Muchelemba said the government, in collaboration with stakeholders, was working tirelessly to ensure children were protected and safeguarded, as evidenced by policies and laws that protected them, such as the Child Code Act. Lifeline Childline District Programs Officer Clayford Musute said many children were exploited, mistreated, and abandoned, a situation which affected their health and future. Mr. Musute bemoaned the increase in the number of boy children herding cattle girls being sexually abused and discrimination. He called for the protection of children, particularly against child trafficking. And one of the facilitators of the workshop, Juliet Banda, said the organization was working under the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child principles to encourage more stakeholders to come on board and protect children. Ms. Banda said the organization advocated for 4 principles, which included survival, development and protection, non-discrimination, which were the best interest of the child, and participation. Meanwhile, participants agreed during the workshop that in order to protect children, interested parties needed to be involved, including traditional leaders, civic leaders, parents, community members, and the children themselves, without looking at their gender.
Education is seen as an equalizer in one's life, but the situation in Chadiza district of Eastern Province is worrying, as some parents and guardians are sending off their children to either herd cattle or early marriages. This has raised concern among stakeholders, and an organization known as Lifeline Childline has come on board to help end the vice. It has held a workshop in Chadiza and has brought together focal point persons to come up with answers to the vice. Here, participants have raised concerns.
Traditional leaders signed, Chief Mulolo, Chief Mangala, all these, they signed those bylaws as to what should happen when a child is impregnated or when someone is taken for early marriages. Those things are there. The issue of early cattle herding again, this cattle herding is not allowed. But it is in his village where these things are happening. You find these children there, And you maybe sometimes you may want to intervene, but the owners are not taking interest in this.
But the district administration wants an intensified campaign against child abuse.
Most of you have even seen the Minister for Community Development talking against child labor. One of the child labors and the one that is very rampant in Chadiza district is cattle herding. Please, we want you to work with us, with the governments, to ensure that together we take the child to school so that we can develop our future leaders, we can equip our children with education other than taking our children for cattle herding.
Meanwhile, the facilitators of the workshop have strongly advocated for the children's rights to be protected.
The boy child has been abused in issues to do with cattle herding, and the girl child has been abused in issues to do with early marriages. Although early marriages have reduced in the district, but the challenge that we have now is that we have high numbers of teenage pregnancies.
When we look at the 4 guiding principles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, in Chadiza, we've taught matrons and patrons through their child rights clubs to make sure that they talk to the children to understand their background, where they're coming from, because we know that it is the duty of the parents or guardians to do what is best for their children.
Juba Zulu, Zanis, Chadiza District, Eastern Province.
That news item brings us to the end of the news broadcast. Before we go, a roundup of the stories that were making headlines. 4 men on the run after gang raping 16-year-old girl. Zambia to change the face of tourism from leisure to an economic benefiting factor. An increase in the number of teen pregnancies bemoans Minister of Education. High charcoal demand in urban areas worries government. Part of Nakadoli market shops in Kitwe burnt to ashes. There ends your news. I was your host, Enoch Chipenda. From me and on behalf of the news crew, enjoy Hope Channel, Zambia television that changes lives. God bless.